books that I make is basically based on this major character right here, Nicodemus Frost. Right? Now, when I was a kid,
everybody got jobs, that's what happened.
My mother made me go to piano school. She tried to teach me because they knew I could draw. They thought I was some kind of prodigy and they wanted to see if I had any to also play music. So I used to shovel snow in the wintertime for the neighbors in my block, and they would pay me, and I would take the money and hide it behind the piano in my house. One day I found some hot ice. You know what hot ice is, right? And I put hot ice in a Tropicana orange juice jar, bottle. Put hot ice in there, and I saved it. And when I would get my money from shoveling snow, I would stick the money in the jar with the hot ice. So when the summertime came, I took my money and I would go out, and when I opened the jar up, the hot ice had turned my money into rubber. If you think I'm playing, try it. Just get some hot ice, put in a jar, put some money in there, a couple of dollars, and let it sit. And the money, it'll look like money, but it'll stretch. It gave me an idea to make this character. Nicodemus Frost is a rubber man. I mean, I started drawing a comic book about Felony Road. This is Felony Road. Every comic book that I make about him, he's always on Felony Road. He's like a private investigator. And there was this doctor, professor named Zelbick. He invented a gun that could shoot 2,000 bullets. And the blueprints for this gun was in his headquarters, in his laboratory. And he also had this thing in the laboratory called the plutonium factory. It's a time machine. And he had never tested it. So these bad guys, they wanted to steal the blueprints to the gun that he created. So he hired this guy to be his bodyguard. And when the bad guys came in, they shot it out with him. He got shot and he fell into the time machine. He's the first person to ever go into it. Mostly all my superheroes have traveled through it at one time or another through the series. When I get the comic books, you'll see. Anyway, when he went into he fell into the machine, the bullets came out of him and his skin turned to rubber. That's how I came up with that concept. And he came out of there as a rubber man. Now bullets can't even hurt him, they just bounce off him. And everybody in Felony Road say that he can't be killed by conventional weapons. And so he would be on Felony Road. It's like a strip where prostitutes be at. And this girl, Ebony Fox, is one of the prostitutes that he'd be protecting her, watching her, because she gets involved with criminals like Baron Quasimodo. He's an extraordinary character. He's like a gang boss. And he got this eye. They call him Baron Quasimodo, the man with the supersonic eye. He can shoot sonic rays out of his eyes and kill people. He don't never use a gun. All he got to do is stare at you. His beams come out of his eye and they kill you. And he got this guy, the bandit, he's one of his henchmen, and he got this guy, Blockbuster. Blockbuster has hands that look like bricks. He can break walls down there, and nothing can withstand his force. There's another guy called Paul Bartholomew Baxter. This band around his head makes him invisible. He can make himself invisible. And the only person that can see him, even when he's invincible, is Nicodemus Frost. And he's like a double agent. He works for the good guys, but he also trying to kill all the scientists. And when you see the book called Schiggenfrazen, that's that book over here. These characters, I made 16 parts called Schiggenfrazen. And in the Schiggenfrazen book, this guy, he's trying to kill all the scientists. Him and another guy named Slingshot. there's a gang of superheroes, supervillains. They're all the children of this character called Limbo. I'll have to draw him or show him in the other books. But anyway, Limbo has a bunch of sons, and they all villains, and they're trying to take over the universe. There was a doctor who went into the time machine, the plutonium factor, and he went all the way to the edge of time to meet this guy named Sobran. Sobran has this oval-shaped thing that he wears around his neck. The doctor stole it from him, and when he took it and went back to Earth, he made the Earth break into 5 different planets. And that's how all these superheroes came. They became like mutations. And they come from different planets. And Limbo was in the 3rd dimension. His sons were in all the different planets. He tried to get them all together to take over the universe. So Dr. Stone, he took the oval, that thing, and he put it on these guys and made them superheroes, the Legion. And he got them to fight against Limbo and his sons. Right, that's a whole different section that coincides later on as the series goes. It all coincides together. But this here, Asphalt Jungle, is a little bit separate. This is Nicodemus Frost and Ebony Fox. This is their son. It's Zachariah Frost. Right? And he lives in a place called Acorn City. They live in a place called Silver Spoon City. You have to take a bridge to get over. All right, and this guy Crime, he's a burglar. Right, him and these 2 guys here, they're called Pat and Turner. They go around stealing diamonds and stuff, and fence them to this guy called Cowboy. This dude with the hood on his head, the same guy right here, Johnny Blaze. He's a burglar too. Right, and they were the same 2 guys, Pat and Turner. They are combined. These 2 comics go together because the characters go together. The police of homicide is Lieutenant Vincent Kowalski. He's Nicodemus Frost's best friend. And every time you get cases that involve superpowered motherfuckers, he always called Nicodemus Frost to help him. Right, and that girl over there called Sergeant Chico. Now this guy is the humanoid. That's him right there when he used to be with the Legion. In the series, mostly all of the Legion get killed. The ones who live is Menudo. That's this guy. See this thing going all the way over here like this? He can stretch the bone. That's him right there. That's him right there. He lived. Right, the humanoid is him. He lived. Then other superheroes joined up. The Unicorn, his girlfriend, is the Mosquito, and this kid, the Patriot. When Dr. Stone got killed, he gave him the oval, and he turned himself into Black Star, a stronger superhero, because he's the only guy that don't have any superpowers. He's like a ninja. He throws stars at people, like that. But once he got the oval, he became a superpowered being. Out of all of the original superheroes, only him survived when he fought against Limbo. So the name of the series that I made is called Shigamfrasm. Shigamfrasm is an expression that you can use instead of cursing. You know what I'm saying? Because I believe that profanity is a crutch for a crippled vocabulary. So instead of always cursing all the time when something surprises you, instead of saying, oh shit, you say Shigamfrasm. These 2 characters, they fall in love and they have sex and all that. And see, my comic books, they have killing and sex and murder and bloodshed and all kinds of stuff. And when somebody dies, one of them might come into an idea to go to the plutonium factory, go back in time, and go get the guy and bring him back. So, but when they do that, they don't realize that they're altering the time zone and the changing history by doing it. But anyway, I got other characters that come from other comics, like this girl Jezebel. She's one of the first superheroes that I made. She comes from a series of comic books that I made called the Golden Mace. She carries a golden mace that she fights people with. The Unicorn, nobody knows where he came from. He never takes off his mask. He's always looking like that. This is the ultimate man. He got tricked into becoming a superhero. He got killed. Dr. Stone put him together and made it so that his body parts could break apart and fly anywhere. But he's like a cyborg. Anyway, this is the Admiral. He's the leader of the Legion. His body is like a shield, nothing can penetrate it. This is the champion. He's an excellent boxer. Right? He don't really have no superpowers, but he's got fighting skills. This is Thunderbolt. He's the brother of Element Man. He can shoot lightning bolts out of his hands. This is the humanoid. He's an android with a computer built on his chest. Nothing can hurt him. But if gas hits him, he can't move. He just be still. This is the Impala. He's Menudo's brother. They're brothers. They come from the planet Yamar. It's a planet that's behind the sun. His horns come out his head, and the Impala's like a baby deer. When the horns come out his head, he can fly at super speed. Menudo is a Spanish word that means change. He can change into anything. Right, then you got the Patriot. I already told you about him. Then you got Devil 27. He comes from a planet called Fazane. There was 30 of them. And Limbo killed all of them except him. He was the 27th one. That's why they call him Devil 27. That's his real face. He was built for COVID-19. He always had that thing on his mouth. Everybody thinks that he wears a mask, but no, that's how he really looks. Element Man can change his body into different. There's like 103 elements known to man that's come from Earth. That was the other four man-made. He can turn his body into any of the original elements. Oxygen, hydrogen. He turns his hands into lead when he fight people. And like that. And this guy, Lieutenant Arsenal, he's just a regular guy who has a backpack. And he got a microphone that comes out. All you gotta do is tell the backpack what weapon he needs and it'll appear in his hands. Right? He don't have no superpowers, he just got a lot of guns. That's why they call him Arsenal. Now this is the amphibian. He's like Prince Nemo in the comic books. He can swim under the water and stuff like that. But he don't have to stay up. He can on the land. He's there. Then you got the War Dorian. He shoots bow and arrows and stuff, and he has this power. When he claps his hands together, it starts earthquakes and stuff like that. So these guys been going around fighting different villains from different planets. Now going back to these dudes, I made a book called Crime. It's a rated X comic book. It's like 145 pages long. It's like the biggest comic ever made. And these people that I hang out with, all of them in the area, and some of them don't know. It's like the biggest comic ever made. Then from Felony Road, it's like a whole different scenario. Superheroes, regular characters, some of them that are different abilities. There's a gangster called King Crackhead, who's got a crack in his head. He don't have superpowers, but that's it. He's like the second in command with this bad guy, Quasimodo. Quasimodo, the bandit, King Crackhead, Diablo, Blockbuster. They want to kill this guy so bad. Diablo, he carries a lot of swords and stuff. They figure since they can't shoot him, maybe they can cut him up. So a lot of times he get in fights with Nicodemus Frost. But Nicodemus Frost always beats them. He always come out on top. They be blowing him up, tearing him up. His clothes be getting all ripped up. This guy here, is a pimp. They call him Papa Smurf. He trying to get all the girls to work with him. But he's really like a loner. And This here guy named is Sasquatch. He's a good friend of Zachariah for us. Him and Shorty. When he get in trouble, they tell him no, he's coming to help him out. These three guys, Patton Turner and Johnny Blaze, they go around committing crimes and framing him up for the crimes that they commit, forcing the lieutenant Kowalski to come after him, which is something he really don't want to do because he knows that he's the son of his best friend. And there's always a lot of conflict going on, and I just make it go on and on and on, and the stories get a little more and more interesting when you read them. Like so, and I've been drawing them now for over 30 years, these particular things. When I was a kid, I didn't get along with people too well. My mother kept me in punishment. I always got in trouble. And instead of her whipping me, she would make me stay in the house. And while I was in the house, this is what I used to do. I used to be in school drawing these things, and my teacher would come and tell my mother. My mother would come to school and take all my comic books from me. She used to put me under punishment. So while I was in the house with nothing to do, I would draw these little characters. And it's like, my mother would find the comics and take them from me. So what I used to do, I would draw the comics and then take them to somebody's house to hold them from me. My mother didn't want me drawing this stuff. It just, whenever I feel kind of like alone, especially when I'm alone, the first thing I do is start drawing. I could be with my friends and I still feel alone. And I just keep on drawing and stuff. But I never thought that anybody would be interested in my artwork. Because I was really just doing it because, being alienated, you know what I'm saying? I live by myself all the time. I make up these characters, I make up stories and go from there. And some of the things that I see out here in the street, I mix in with the story. What more I can tell you when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah, definitely gonna be more. We're gonna come to it.
And because the next thing I want to do is get the comic books and show you them individually. You have to take them home and read them and stuff like that. Take pictures of them the way you may see fit to show how they coincide with these characters that I made. Because it's kind of hard for me to explain, but when you read it, then it'll all come together. Because this guy is in almost every comic book I made. Because he's the police and he had never saw these superheroes before until they started coming to the earth and trying to start war. As different aliens started coming to earth and started making war with the people in his town. When this guy Slingshot is an assassinator, this is another thing I need to tell you. The first superhero ever made up was this guy, Force Field. He had two brothers, Sergeant Solid and Zip. They used to work for the Nation, is the name of the organization of superheroes and agents that work for Dr. Stone. Now, the first ones he had was those three, Force Field, Sergeant Solid, and Zip. They came before all of these guys. They was the only superheroes that he had working for him at first. Now, this guy Slingshot, I gotta draw a picture of him to let you see. Because I had it, but somebody came and bought it. Anyway, Slingshot killed his two brothers, Sergeant Solid and Zip. And that caused him to quit the Nation. When he quit the Nation, that's when Dr. Stone had to find these guys in Egypt and make a whole new crew to replace him. Anyway, for 30 years, he chased this guy Slingshot. In the book called Sugar Crash, he finally catches him and puts him in jail. And when he was in jail, his girlfriend broke him out. They force field. He didn't want to mess with these guys no more because Dr. Stone, he felt it was Dr. Stone's fault that his brothers got killed. So he used to be by himself. And he got older and older. He used to be blonde haired, young looking like that. And one day he almost got slingshot. But slingshot was in a spaceship and underground. And when he shot up into space, the fire that came out of the back of the spaceship burned his eyes. That's why he looked like that. He looked like teardrops, but his eyes was burnt out. He's blind, but he still moved around like he could see. His other senses are stronger. How you doing, bro? His other senses are stronger. So he still kept on. He has these wings that shoot force fields that can protect you or protect himself. He always has a force field around him. That's why he's glowing like that. Anyway, if he hits you with both wings, you'll disintegrate. That's how he kills people. But if he can hit you with one, he can push you back, or he use the other hand to draw you to him. But when he used both hands, he's burning you up. Anyway, he caught slingshot, locked him up, and when he heard that he was going to be broken out of prison, he went to the prison and waited to see who was going to come bring him out. And there was this thing he called a Yeti. Snuck up on him, beating him up. They had a good fight that lasted about 2 comic books. Anyway, while he was fighting him, Slingshot's girlfriend broke him out of prison. And he went back to searching for him again. Now, as time went on, Limbo had these aliens from another planet come and invade the Earth. And they was fighting everybody, the cops, civilians, everybody. Even Forcefield had to come back and help them out. The most ironic thing about it is him and Slingshot had to team up together to fight these aliens. They was coming at them from all directions. And Slingshot ended up getting killed, trying to protect him, trying to protect Forcefield. This is the android. It's just a robot that wears a mask. That's made out of metal, right? He gets murdered early in the comic, in the story. Mine leaving out.
Like that.
That's what I talked about everybody.
Oh, I'm sorry.
When I was a kid, I used to draw graffiti. And this is the character that I used to draw. So I put that face on almost everything that I draw. I got my superheroes copied. I'm just now starting getting published.
Wait, what face you said? The top one?
Yeah, this
okay.
Here, you see down here?
Notice that, yes.
Yeah, I put on everything I draw. Yeah.
Wow.
Children, they read all my comics. She's sitting over there, bro. And what I do is I hide my name in the artwork. And my children, when they read my comics, they play what they call a Chico game.
Found it.
See right there?
Yes.
See my name here, you see right there. So I show them the comics. And after I read it to them, I ask them to see if they can find my name. Usually they do. But I didn't sign that one. I just finished that. Sign my name in this document. Sometimes I sign it once, sometimes I sign it a bunch of times. So you have to look for it. This one, this document. This guy's document. I didn't tell you about it, but I wouldn't.
This is amazing.
I had never known that an organization of superheroes exists until I made this. Chico ART. that story is, this book tells how the superheroes and the superpower people finally meet the regular people. So I had combined all of them. They all separate. I made this book, Chico ART. I had come with the idea to put all of the characters in one long series. So when you read it, when you read it, the story is so long, it's 16 parts, it's 16 chapters, 16 books, and it tells a little bit about each and every one of the characters. Right? And then when I did it, at the end of the books, I would let people read them, and they wrote down what they felt about it, and comments and stuff like that. And some of the things that they wrote made me bring back certain characters like him. I didn't know that this guy was well liked by the people who read my stuff. So I killed them all, but I had to bring them back to the plutonium factory. Right? Some of these, he gets killed, he gets killed, he gets killed. He doesn't, he gets killed, he doesn't, he gets killed. And he gets killed, but they brought him back. He gets killed, they brought him back. These guys got killed, they didn't come back. But they got replacements. See, it was 12 of them, so they made 12 more of them to take their place. And the only two from the original crew, him, the rest of their partners was dead. Then there's other superheroes that I got. Marvelous Man, the Atomic Man. I gotta draw you Slingshot, let you see what he looked like. Limbo, Mastermind. Mastermind is in almost all my comics too. He's a bad motherfucker. Mastermind wears his long helmet. And when he thinks he can create super beings that do his bidding for him. He works with Limbo, but he's not one of Limbo's sons. He killed one of Limbo's sons. That caused them to become enemies. But they both want to be masters of time. There's another character I made called the Troublesome Soul. He was the second person to ever go into the plutonium factory. And when he went in there, his soul left his body. His body didn't come back out, but his soul goes through different dimensions. And he became like somebody who know the future, because he had been in every dimension. So he would come back to Earth and tell them to leave certain characters alone. Like I got this dude called the Challenger. He ain't no good guy. They call him the Challenger because if he see you, he coming to do you dirty. And he's the most powerful superhero I got. Wait till you see the dude. He skates through space. Now, I made this character up when I was like 14, 15 years old. And I took all of these dudes to Stan Lee and Marvel Comics. They made me draw the pictures on the wall. They took my superhero, the Challenger, and turned him into the Silver Surfer. That's what I did about copyright. So I got a lot of other characters. So I got them on display like this. The stories all intertwined in some aspect. Wait till you see them, you see the comic books. I even got a separate comic called Asphalt Jungle. It's about this big. It's got a lot of pages, 50 pages now. Most of the characters that's in it look like rappers listen to today, like what's that boy name? The one that played in Fast and Furious.
Oh, Ludacris?
Yeah. In the Asphalt Jungle comics, I got a character in there that looks like him. I got one that looks like Scarface that used to be with what they call it, with that little short Bushwick Bill dude.
Yeah.
I got a character that looks like him. I got a character that looks like Jay-Z. Mostly all the characters that I got in the Asphalt Jungle series look like the rappers and shit.